Hi everyone, good morning, and welcome back to day 2 of Frappeverse 2024. My name is Michelle, and I have been part of Frappe long enough to see it transform from an ERP company to something more. So, before I begin, let me ask you all a quick question. How many of you first heard about Frappe because of ERP Next? Please raise your hands. Yeah, just like I expected, most of you, and that was me as well. So back in 2019, when I first joined Frappe, ERP Next was our sole focus. But you know what? They say right things happen at the right time. Somewhere around 2020, things began to change. We had the opportunity, we had the right team, and we had the freedom. So we always wanted to be a multi-product company. And in 2015, when we wanted to rename our company's name from Web Notes to something else, we had two options. One was Frappe and the other was ERP Next. And we chose Frappe because at some point we knew that we wanted to go beyond ERP Next. And the first product that we built in this direction was Frappe Books. Now, ERP Next's front end is built on JavaScript and back end is built on Python, and that's not a very ideal scenario. And Rucha wanted to build a product which had the front end and back end both in JS. So he thought of building a new framework that is Frappe JS, and that led to Frappe Books. And we also realized that ERP Next is a product which has its UI tightly bound to data structure. And while that makes sense for a product like ERP Next, while most of y'all kind of enjoy that, for some other products, a crafted UI would make more sense. And last year, Faris, he spoke about this in Frappeverse, how we are moving in this direction and how most of our products are built using crafted UI. So while these changes were happening, most of our products kind of took shape because of our internal needs. So let me just quickly share with you a personal example. One day I was in office and I was really struggling with our renewals data. Very frustrated because the data was scattered across multiple locations and I couldn't get reports out of them easily. So I was having this discussion with one of my colleagues and I told him, you know what, I don't know how to get this data. Could you please help me? And Saqib, the product owner of Frappe Insights, was somewhere there and he overheard this conversation. So he came up to me and he's like, you know what, I'm building a prototype of Frappe Insights. And I was aware of that, but never got to use it. And he said, you know what, maybe just tell me your problems and I might be able to give you a solution. So I was honestly very skeptical. I didn't know if that would work. But I told him that, this is where the data is. Could you help me get a report out? And he's like, give me a day's time. So he went back and he came back the next day and said, is this what you want? And that was exactly what I wanted. That sort of gave me motivation to learn what insights is. I was curious enough, so he was kind enough to teach me, and I built some reports myself. And then I built some more dashboards, and more people started using it. They built their dashboards, and today Insights is one of the most used products in Frappe. We use it every day. We use it to track our internal metrics, and we discuss it every week in something called as All Hands, which I think Aditya's mentioned in his talk yesterday as well. And this is the same story for all our products, be it Frappe Learning, Helpdesk, CRM, Builder. Most of these products are used, I think all of these products are used internally. And that's when we sort of got confidence that if it makes sense for us, it definitely would make sense for the audience out there. So last year was the first time when we thought it was the right moment to bring these products to you. And we got these products to you last year in Frappeverse 2023. And that was the right moment because you got to know who is behind these products and the product owners got instant feedback. But you know what? We soon realized that yes, the community now knows them, but there is some lack in visibility and the world outside doesn't know. We realized that it was not just important to build great products, but it was also important for people to know that it existed. So then last quarter, we spent time building landing pages. If you go on our website, frappe.io slash the name of the product, you will see landing pages for these products where we have shared our story, the why behind these products, different features, etc. We also started being more active on social media. We put more posts, and more people outside the community got to know about these products. We saw slowly the demand increasing, and that's when we decided that it was important to take this to the next level. So, I mean, it's common, right? When you want to try a new product, you want to quickly get started. And earlier, our signups would take 2 to 3 minutes, just to get into the product. So we also dedicated time last year to improve the overall sign up process. Now, if you try signing up on these products, it should take you less than a minute. The next thing that comes is once you are using the product, you want a smooth user journey, right? And we set up post-hoc analytics for this. Now, before you begin asking why did we not build a post-hoc alternative, we did try. And then Ankush happened. He's like, enough. And we just continued using post-hoc, and it is working perfectly fine for us because it is open source and it lets us tell where the users are struggling. So now we every week check where we have this retention funnel and metrics that we track to see which features are mostly used, which features are not, and we are working on improving the overall onboarding process. So right, let me keep this very simple and straightforward. We want to be the best, but we know we are not there yet. We are not as good as the products that are in the market currently. And I'm not talking about ERP next, I'm talking about the new gen products. But we are confident that we'll get there. Our goal is to challenge the proprietary softwares out there and replace them by open source products, and to be the best open source company and the best open source ecosystem out there. So yeah, we are talking to more users. We are trying to add features that are at par with the market standards and improve the overall experience. So yeah, I would say that even though our foundation is ERP Next, the future are these products, and they are going to take us beyond that. So now overall, to the people who do that, who make it happen, they'll walk you through the product launches, updates, and some exciting new products that are lined up. So I would say the future is here, and we can't wait to show you what's next. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jannat Patel, and I'm the product engineer of the Frappe Learning app. To all the existing members of the community who don't know what Frappe Learning is, it's nothing new. I just renamed Frappe LMS to Frappe Learning. To all the new members of the community who don't know what Frappe Learning is, it's a learning management system that lets you create and share online courses with your target audience. A little backstory. In the year 2021, we were looking for a learning system to launch Mon School, and Moodle being the most popular open source learning system out there was the first option that we considered. But it did not suit our taste. The forms were unnecessarily lengthy and cumbersome. I mean, it shouldn't be this hard to create a course, right? And so we decided to make our own learning system. Fast forward to today, not just Mon School and Frappe School, but more than 500 organizations use Frappe Learning to create their online courses and training batches. So what's the next step for an application that already has a decent number of users? I wanted to take my app to the next level. That meant adding more features like more various kinds of assessments, gamification, and better certification and evaluation flow. But there was a slight problem. The system back then was made with vanilla JavaScript and Frappe framework. To maintain consistency with the framework's UI, I had used all the controls, such as inputs and buttons, directly from the framework's UI. And those controls were tightly coupled with the context of a form. Now, when you're making crafted UIs, not all screen has a form, right? That caused problems. The other problem was whenever a user's action updated a data, to make that data reflect everywhere else on the screen, I had to write a lot of jQuery code. This was unnecessarily increasing the time of execution. Now, in the later half of 2020, a lot of new products started coming in the Frappe ecosystem. One thing that was common in all these products was that they were made using Frappe UI. Frappe UI is a library that provides you with a set of components and utilities to build front-end applications. I was among the first set of people who got to experience how fast the development of these apps were happening. It felt almost magical. And that was the first time I thought of rewriting my application. And believe me when I say it, it was not an easy decision to make. My app already had a decent number of features back then, and it was stable for its users. But there was a gut feeling inside me that told me that if I wanted to make my app the best open source learning system out there, then I had to do this. And so I decided to go ahead with it. But back then, I didn't know Vue.js. I didn't know Frappe UI. I looked up a couple of tutorials online, but it kind of felt boring. I wanted to actually make something to learn these, and so I decided to directly start with the rewrite project. I decided to go one component at a time, and I chose the course card component as my first goal. And when the course card component was ready, I just iterated it through a list of courses, and the course list was ready. And when the course list was ready, I just added a sidebar and a header, and just like that, the first page was ready. Looking at how fast this page got ready gave me the confidence that the rewrite project would be fast too. And then I prioritized on a list of features to launch the beta. And 3 months down the line, the beta of the new version was released on Frappe School. A couple of things that I liked about the entire rewrite project. The first was the learning experience that I got was just really amazing and fun. And it was surreal seeing that the project that I was working on for the past 2 years, I was able to rewrite it all in just 3 months. The second was magic of reactivity. Now, I no longer needed to write jQuery to update data everywhere. Just updating the data in itself was enough to make it reflect everywhere else on the screen because reactivity took care of it. And because I wasn't writing those jQuery lines anymore, the lines of code automatically reduced. What I didn't expect to happen was that even after putting in all the effort and having a valid reason to do this project, a few people from the community accused me of wasting time because they felt that I could have been making a lot more new features in that duration instead of rewriting the entire application. But as Taylor Swift says, haters gonna hate. I just decided to shake it off. And the when the beta version was stable on Frappe School, we released the second version of the app through Build with Hussein's channel. And then I was able to get back to my original goal, the list of features that I had in my mind. I'll be taking you through some of them now. The first is evaluation and certification flow. An evaluator now sees a calendar on their profile page that lists all the evaluations that they're supposed to look after. Clicking on the event opens up a dialog that has the information about the evaluation. They can join the call right from here and also record the feedback simultaneously. And then when a student passes the evaluation, evaluators can create their certificate right from the screen. To create a certificate, all you have to do is select the template and the dates, and the certificate automatically gets shared with the student. By the way, the certificate that you see here was made using the Print Designer app. If you want to create a custom certificate of your own, you just have to create a print format and then use it as the template. If your learning system has a huge list of courses and batches, then categorizing them helps your students make the right choice. When a student selects a category, the list automatically filters, and then the same also reflects on the URL so that you can share it in newsletters and other targeted groups to get the right audience. Moderators can now customize their learning system right from the portal. The settings dialog shows you a list of members that have signed up on the learning system. You can also set up and manage payment gateways, and then you can add and edit categories right from here, personalize the branding information, customize the sidebar based on your use cases, and much more. As a student, receiving a badge just makes you feel appreciated. Now you can assign badges to your students in Frappe Learning. The badges that a student receives are listed on their profile page. They can then share it on their LinkedIn and Twitter profile right from here. A lot of people asked for it, and now you get it. Payments app integration through Frappe Learning app. You can now set up the payment gateway of your choice through Frappe Learning. All you have to do is just make sure that you configure the right payment gateway with the correct API keys and API secret. And then when a student wants to purchase a badge or a course, all they have to do is fill in the billing information, which then leads them to the payment gateway, wherein they just have to ensure that they enter the right payment credentials and complete the payment process, which then automatically enrolls them into that batch or course that they had selected. And I think after all this, the next in line for Frappe Learning is definitely interactive learning experience, as some of you may call it, SCOM. Any learning component that you can add to your lesson, you will be able to make it interactive to make the learning experience more engaging. That is all from my end today. Thank you all for giving me your time.
Hello everyone, I am Saqib Ansari, product owner of Frappe Insights. I have been working on this project for I think 2.5 years now, and I'm going to be going through the updates of last year. So Frappe Insights, for those who don't know, is a business intelligence tool. Lets you essentially lets you connect to multiple data sources to bring all your business data at one place and to build reports on them that updates in real time visually without getting into without writing any SQL. And then from those reports you can create charts and create dashboards to automate your tracking. So last year the usage has been growing significantly, and the main reason being we started a weekly cadence of team level metrics review uh, where people build charts on insights and report them on game plan. So this increased challenges as well. A lot more people started using insights, and this led to a lot of clutter in the query list, where most of them uh, were duplicate queries, and the reason being duplicating queries uh, was the only way to not affect the live reports while also while also making changes and getting to the like. Then there were also ad hoc queries, basically people trying to just get the overall sense of the data, basically doing, and then these queries were not used uh, in future. Then there were, and this led to a lot of clutter, as I said, and made finding queries harder. Then there were report building challenges because there were report building challenges, for example, limited SQL support from the visual query builder. And this was also a reason why people created more and more queries to like overcome the limitation. Then there were duplicate calculations. You couldn't reuse the existing calculated column in another calculations. There were hard to manage multiple level reports, which is essentially multiple queries in a chain to produce a final report. And this was a very common pattern and a frustrating one. That also meant the query modifications were difficult. For example, if you want to filter the final report by a different column, then you had to add that column to all the queries that the report is built on. Then there were other challenges like combining data from different sources. This was a very unintuitive process and didn't make a lot of sense to the users. There were longer loading times. For example, imagine just sorting a query by a different column and then waiting 40 seconds for it to just load. So minor changes had very longer feedback times. And then another annoying problem of filtering the dashboards, which is linked to the query modification. So these were the challenges that I focused on to improve in the Insights, next release of Insights. And the very first change that I made was to introduce workbooks, which is a group of queries, charts and dashboards. And instead of creating a query, you create a workbook, which doesn't get saved automatically. It stays in your local storage. And once you perform, once you go on with your exploratory analysis, you then you can then choose to save it or discard it completely. So this reduces a lot of unnecessary records made, which can lead to a lot of clutter in the list view. And by default, these workbooks were made to be private so that you don't see workbooks that are irrelevant to you. Then Query Builder also got a major revamp, and the reason being I wanted it to be much more flexible than it was, overcoming the limitations of the visual builder. So it is much more advanced while also keeping it easy to use. So here is a short demo. So first, once you create a query, you select the source table, then you see the data, and there are actions on the top of the table. And first I will just select the necessary columns. You have contextual buttons to, here I have changed the data type of, and then there are contextual actions like sorting and filtering. You can perform joins just like before. You select your columns to pick from the next table. You create columns just as before. You can rename the column from the column header. You can double click on the sidebar on any step and you can edit that. Once you have edited, you go back to that previous state, and from there you can also make more changes, like adding another join. And once you have added it, it gets added next to the step, and you can jump back to the new steps also. So this, personally, I enjoyed this feature the most. Like it makes query modifications and also documenting how the query is formed much more easier. So under the hood, this is powered by a very flexible data frame library called IBIS framework. And this provides all the APIs that are needed for an analysis workflow. This is specially designed for analysis workflows, and it has a much more sophisticated APIs. For example, first of all, it gives 100% SQL support, and also it provides more APIs like pivoting, uh, pivoting on a column, which also translates to SQL. So this made perfect sense, and this also improves the. This also makes it easier to integrate with other databases, which previously required me to write a different set. Like for uh, for example, date formatting. I had to manage the date formats API for each and every databases. This takes care of this takes care of it automatically. Then there are some more new features on top of the existing one. You can now write custom join conditions. You can add filter groups by also changing the logical operator. You can perform union operations, and there are also custom operation which makes it very flexible. You can write here the IBIS query, whatever IBIS provides, and that can be added to the as a step. The chart interface is now separate to make it much more focused, flexible, and provide more configurations. So the sidebar, first I will add a chart, and then the sidebar has the options. The options are modified, redesigned in a way to provide more and more customization per series. And then there is a handy feature which I call split by, where you can just select a category column, text column, and the series will be split by it. There is also more data controls, query level controls. So at chart level, you can add custom filters, you can define sorting and limits. And finally, you can also click on the chart element to see the underlying rows. So that dashboards are pretty much the same, but the most annoying problem that I had is solved now, which was filtering. So now once you have saved your dashboard, you can just go to filter and you see the columns of all the queries that the dashboard is dependent on, and you can filter on any column. So you don't need to worry about linking the filters with the charts. And this was the cross database experience has been like very hard to improve. And the loading times that I mentioned before. So this, I tried to tackle it in this release as well. So after research, I found out that the solution to this is warehousing. Like you create a database where you have all your data at one place, and that database is optimized for querying, which is a columnar database essentially. But I didn't like this solution, like asking customers, or for that matter internally, if I have to solve this problem, then I need to do all this, was just not fitting. So I started experimenting with columnar DB, which was DuckDB, and this was introduced by after using IBIS, because IBIS has first class support for DuckDB. So what this does is essentially Insights allows you to store your tables on a local DuckDB instance, which stays on the Insights server. And once the data is stored, it can be refreshed daily, and that essentially gives you a lot more, a lot faster queries. Even in like, even if you don't have indexing, you don't have to worry about anything, and just uh, get significant improvements on your query execution times. So the way it works is you just enable this, uh, you just toggle this enable cache, and then your all the tables for that query will be stored in the DuckDB instance, and whenever those tables are used in other queries as well, it will be fetched from the local instance. So this is still in experimental phase, but I plan to dig deep into this and improve the user experience for this. Then finally, we have permissions as well in this release. You can set up an admin. You can set up an admin team which will manage all the permissions and create teams, add users, and you can define data source level, table level, or even row level permissions now. So basically you will define conditions here, and this can be dynamic as well, which picks up from the user attributes, which can be defined in the user master. So yeah, that's it for the version 3 features. Next, I'm planning to improve the reporting experience. For example, scheduled notifications, shared links, which can be only viewed by particular users. And along with that, improving the cross database experience as well. And version 3 is releasing on 1st November. So stay tuned. That's it.
Good morning, everyone. I am Shariq Ansari, product engineer at Frappe, working on Frappe CRM since more than a year now. So before starting, I want to ask how many of you know about Frappe CRM? Wow, nice. So those who don't know, Frappe CRM is a customer relationship management tool which is used by the sales team to close their deals efficiently using a better and crafted user interface. How many of you have used Frappe CRM? So, nice. So those who have not used, I think after this presentation, you will at least give it a try. So yeah, let me start. So this is me in the last conference. I presented the proof of concept of Frappe CRM with very limited features. And now, a year later, many features and integrations were added in the Frappe CRM, which I will talk about next. So this is a photo of our sales team. And they are the reason why Frappe CRM exists. They needed a better and user-friendly CRM tool. They were using ERPNext CRM module before this. So they naturally became our first customer. So to reach from 0 to 1, many features were introduced in the CRM. So I will talk about those. So the first thing is the comment. Now the agents can internally communicate with each other by just mentioning them in through comments. You can do that. Many tabs were added. You can see comments, calls, tasks, notes. You can also add tasks now. You can create multiple tasks to work on your leads. You can assign them to other agents. As you can see, I'm assigning it to Asif. Let me also assign this lead to myself. So There we can add multiple assignments also. Now let me log in as Asif and see how he will take a look. So now Asif will get some notifications like this lead was assigned to him, or he got mentioned in the comment, or the task was assigned, so that he can work on this lead. So next, after working on this lead, he will convert this lead to a deal. So now we have two options, like you can select existing deal or contact, or the details from the lead will be will be used to create the organization and contact. So that's that. Now if you will see on the right side, SLA has been started. Means SLA feature were also introduced. So now to close this SLA, the first response, you will have to communicate with the lead. So now using email template feature, you can quickly send emails. So I'm sending a welcome email here. Now we can finally mark it as replied. Now the first response will be closed. Cool. Coming to some customization options. Uh, Starting with custom fields. Now you can add custom fields on your deal page through this editor. Just by dragging and dropping, you can add sections and fields. Now you also want this fields in your list view. So you can also do that just by adding it through columns. You can also drag to resize the columns. Now the next thing that any sales agent work on, they work on multiple leads and different types of leads in the system. So they have to apply some filters to get those leads, but they cannot do that again and again. So to solve this problem, custom views were introduced. So now, by the way, you can click on the column item to just filter. So by applying this filter, now you can create a custom view from the breadcrumbs through this. This custom view is a combination of filter, sort, and columns, and it will be visible in the saved views section. So now some views are very common. So like my deals, you can make it public so that every agent can use it. By marking it as public, it will be visible in the sidebar. And some are very personal, like cold deal and warm. So you can pin them in the sidebar for quick navigation. Coming next to custom actions. So you will need some custom actions in the deal page. It will be visible on over here on the header. So similar to client script, we have form script in CRM. So using that, you can add different kind of custom action buttons. Let me enable and show. So we have, you can see three types of buttons, like the normal, the menu button with the label. So this custom actions can also be added in the list view. So along with the custom actions, we also have bulk actions. So let me enable and show. So the custom action is visible in the header, as you can see. And by selecting some rows, you can perform some bulk actions. And the bulk action that we added through custom form script, it will be visible here. You can see mark as one. It is a custom bulk action. Oh, sorry. So right after this, CRM was production ready. So the next best step was to launch it. So we did a live launch on Build with Hussain channel on YouTube. Thanks Hussain for hosting it. And right after that, as Michelle mentioned, we also launched our landing pages. So we have a lot landing pages along with docs. So through this, I got many more customers uh, right after the launch. So the launch was on April 1st. So after this, I also got introduced to our community through Telegram channel. So we have 450 plus members, active members. And this was the reason we reached from one customer to 500 customer just after the launch. And we are currently 500 active paid sites on Frappe Cloud. But to reach this stage, many more features and integrations were added. Some of them came through the community, and some of them were uh, I added those. So let me see. So the first feature was translation. So just by changing the from the language from user settings, the portal is now translated. You can see. And then next, the most requested feature was the Kanban view. So you can now just drag and drop your deals to change your status. You can perform actions right from the Kanban, like creating the deal or making a call or creating a notes. Everything from the Kanban view itself. You can add or remove your columns, or as we saw, we created a custom field, right? So we can also add those fields in this Kanban item, and many more customization option is there. You can check it out later. So next thing was PWA. So now CRM can be installed through your browser. So now it is mobile friendly. So these are some of the screens. This is the list view, and deal view. You can email and comment right from your mobile. So next comes some integrations. The first integration is WhatsApp. So there was already Frappe WhatsApp uh, in the marketplace. It was contributed by Sridhar Patel. So I used the same app for the backend. The UI is what I worked on. Let me show you that. So now you can enable or configure all your integrations through setting page. So here you can enable it. And right after enabling it, WhatsApp tab will be visible on your deal page. As you can see, the WhatsApp chats are visible. The UI is very similar to WhatsApp web. You can add reactions or emojis. You can reply or add image, video, all of those. And we also get real-time updates, like I've replied and I just got the reply from the customer. So we have that also. Next, the most requested integration from ERP Next community, the ERP Next integration. Thanks Nabeen for contributing this. So after enabling this, you will see a create quotation button on your deal page, and by clicking on it, you will be redirected to the ERP Next screen, and you can continue your ERP Next flow from there. And after closing your deal, like changing the status to 1, the customer will be created automatically, and you can view that customer through this button. And this is configurable, by the way, on what status change you want to create the customer from the ERP Next settings. So These are all the features and integrations came into Frappe CRM in this last year. But what next? Uh, so at Frappe, we are currently focusing on making our onboarding experience better. So the first thing I will work on the onboarding. There are many more features like dashboard, desk to portal. So there are many features like email account setup or SLA setup. You'll have to go to desk to do that. So plan is to move all those desk related features on the portal. Then calendar view will come, then more customization option will be added and more integrations. Currently we have 3 integration, Twilio, WhatsApp and ERP Next, out of which 2 were contributed by the community. So this is the opportunity for you to contribute back to the Frappe CRM via integrations. So yeah, that's all from my side. I will.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ritvik Sardana, and I work at Frappe as an engineer. As an engineer, I love to build products and apps which are highly customizable and gives user an amazing experience. Building an app, a small component, or a complex front-end project is what wakes me up from the bed every morning and is what motivates me. So it's been almost 1.5 years since I joined Frappe, and needless to say, the journey has been amazing. I started with the ERP Next accounting team, worked there for 3 months, and it was a lot of fun, but I felt like something was missing. So I started looking at other projects in Frappe and I stumbled upon Frappe Education. So Frappe Education is an open source ERP for school and academic institutes, which has features like fees management, results, attendance, class scheduling, and much more. So when I started working on it, right, it was in a very poor state because it was abandoned from the last 2 years. So the first task which I did was to release a stable version of it. After that, I got on a Zoom call with a lot of people from our community, and that was like the first time I was interacting with the community. And at that point, I realized the power and the support of our community, and I was in awe of that. So I was really amazed by how much support our community has. And then I built a lot of features in Frappe Education. One of the most important feature which I worked on was student portal. So while working on student portal, I wanted to have a calendar view so that users can see their attendance and they can see their class schedule. So I started building a calendar view from scratch. So it went from this to this, finally to this. So it became a full-fledged calendar view which has a monthly view, a weekly view, and daily view, and you can add a lot more operations into it. So the day it got merged into Frappe UI, right, it was pretty amazing. I felt on top of the world, and that was like the best moment of my career till date. So I wanted to work on more complex project that day. So I thought that I should look into more complex projects. And at that time, Faris gave me the opportunity to work on Helpdesk. So I immediately grabbed the opportunity. So Helpdesk has a journey of its own actually. So here is the journey. So in 2018, we used to have the ERP Next support module, which was fine, but could have been much better. Then in 2022, we introduced Frappe Desk in the ERP Next 22 Conf. And last year, we introduced Helpdesk. And then 2024, I joined Helpdesk, and it's been 3 months since I joined it. It almost felt like, it was a match made in heaven. Here I was looking at complex front-end projects, and here was Helpdesk looking at an engineer who is more inclined towards front-end. So I felt like it was in my destiny to work on Helpdesk. So I joined in July. I started working on Helpdesk in July, and here is the refresh look. So this is now the new ticket list view, where you can see here. So you can have features like filters, sort, columns, and these are like multiple agent assignment, which is also now possible. You can click on an agent to add filter. You can sort it by descending and ascending orders. You can customize the columns according to your requirements. You can alter it, and then you can remove the columns as well. Now when you click on a ticket, you will be navigated to a single ticket view where you can see the communication part, and when you click on new button, you can pre-fill the email account with canned responses. So with this, we can also introduce that the new comment can also be added from this button. And from the right top corner, we can change the status of the ticket. And the right hand side, you can also see that there is a feedback, the SLA, and many more fields. So let's see how we can add custom fields into this view. So I'll go back to the desk. I will create a new custom field which is called GitHub. I'll click on it, copy the name of the field, move to the top type called HD ticket template, paste the field name over here. I also have features to hide it from the customers or if it is required or not while creating a ticket. So I'll do that, save the video, save the doc type, and as you can see, the custom field is now visible. So now let's say that we want to create a button which can navigate the user to this particular custom field. So this is how we can do it. We can go to the HD form script doc type. We can, inside this function, we have the doc support, which means we can have the ticket support over here. And let's say we are creating now a URL, and on click of the button, we will be navigated to the button, to the site. So when we click on it, we are navigated to that. So this is how you can add customizations into your help desk. So now, after interacting with the community, right, I gained a lot of experience in education. And then again, when I was working on Helpdesk, I again started communicating with them. And one thing which I realized was that setting up email account was a hassle. It was pretty much difficult, and for a product like Helpdesk, it was very important. So I am glad to announce that settings is now on the front end side as well. So now you can set up your email account from the front end. So you will see over here right now. You can click on the sidebar. From here, you can either create an email account, which has all of these supports in the providers, or you can have multiple email accounts for incoming emails or outgoing emails from where you have to send responses. So you can edit the email from here as well. Now let's say you want to white label the product for your requirements. So from the branding tab, you can upload your branding logo and also the brand favicon. So everything was working fine. And then, a lot of people in the internal team started saying that they're not able to reply to their customers because the Helpdesk was not mobile compatible. So I thought, why not as a front-end engineer make their life easier? So not only I made it mobile compatible, but I'm glad to announce that Helpdesk is now a PWA. So basically it means that you can install the app via your browser and you don't have to worry about updating it again. So here is the small video on that. So this is the customized list view which you can see over here. You can click on any agent to filter the apply filters or a status you can also click on. This is how the filters are applied. You can go to the notifications tab and you can click on any notification and you will be navigated to the single ticket view. Here you can see the feedback, SLA and other details. Right from here you can click on activity and you can again reply to the ticket, or you can add a comment for internal team usage. So since last year, the response has been pretty amazing from our community, and we have more than 1900 plus marketplace installed since the last year. 2 months before, we crossed the landmark for 500 stars on GitHub, and we have now more than 550 sites running on Frappe Cloud. So yeah, that's it from my side. Oh wait, there's more. So when I started working on Helpdesk, right, one thing which really bothered me was that customer portal looks weird. It was very weird and I did not like it. So I thought, why not just give it a revamp? So for context, this is how the portal which we are used to. So this is the list view. Again, a simple, useful, not very powerful. This is a single ticket view. Okay UI, and don't even get me started with the knowledge base. So I decided to give it a revamp, and here's how it looks now. So now the customers can have the same experience as users. All of those functionalities are also now available. You can add filters, sort, columns. Again, you can click on any status to check the status, apply filter, or on the agents as well. When you click on the single ticket view, you are navigated to this view where you can see the communication, SLA, feedback, and the custom and the more details. When you create a new ticket, you are navigated to this page where you will write a subject. And as you write a subject, you are suggested some articles. Now, this is not powered by AI. This is just ready search in the backend. So another thing is knowledge base, right? So this is the new knowledge base. So from here, you can search for any articles. Yeah. So from the search bar, you can search articles based on the title and also on the author. So you can search them from here. On the left hand side, you can see a sidebar where you can click on any category. And there you can see subcategories and the articles. When you click on any subcategory, right, you navigate it to the articles. And when you click on any article, you see the article view. So now Helpdesk was one of the very few products that started in the labs team, but it was never officially launched. So as of today, 2 hours ago, the version 1 of Helpdesk is now released. So what's next, right? So the future of Helpdesk, I think, is very bright. And these are some of the things which I'll definitely work on. Some of them are dashboard for the agents and agent managers to see the analytics and to improve the ticket resolution time. Next is customizations. I truly want that you can make it as customizable as possible so that it can be used in any industry. And one thing which I realized was while working on Helpdesk, the communication was very asynchronous, right? So to improve that, I'll be introducing notifications in the future. And again, with the same context, I will also introduce the calling functionality. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
And what I mostly work on is Frappe Drive. Frappe Drive is our all-in-one file collaboration syncing solution. It's just better if I show you rather than tell you. So here's a quick overview of what I showed you last time and some new features for basic workflow in Frappe Drive. You can select, upload files and folders. There's no file size, there's a 10 GB limit, but that's soft. You can quickly preview your files, be it docx, spreadsheets, videos, right inside your browser, and you can share them with your team immediately. Frappe Drive ships with like a robust permission system to manage read-write access to files, as well as a fully fledged document editor right inside the application itself. So now that you're all caught up as to what Frappe Drive is, let me give you a bit of highlights as to what happened this year. A lot of changes were under the hood and backend, but this is what I think the community asked for, and these are the highlights that I think I was talking about. Sharing got a major overhaul in Drive. Framework's permission system was not that robust initially for document sharing. It was only single level. Drive is a recursive tree. You couldn't do group sharing, organization sharing, and things of that nature. So I took the entire permission system inside of Drive and shipped new features onto the permission system. So you can have organization sharing in Drive now. Organization sharing is where you can share a file or folder with everyone on your site and they immediately get access to it. You can also make user groups on Drive now and share files and folders with user groups. It's as seamless as sharing a file with a user. You don't have to fiddle with emails while making a user group. You can simply go into settings, create a new user group, and move on. Drive also gained auto invalidation. Kind of like some Drive companies charge this as an enterprise feature. You can simply set a date time and your share access is revoked. Simple as that. This is currently just limited to a day. We might change that going forward. As the product slowly matures, Drive has also gained a settings page. Besides some basic user preferences, we'll take a look at all of the major settings that got added. If you add a limit to Drive, you can add a storage overview. If your system has a limit, you can get an overview of all the files on the entire system. These are grouped by file kind and sorted by largest type of file you have. This is pretty cool for Frappe, which has no per user storage, per user pricing, stuff like that. Although Drive now does support per user storage. Interestingly, how this works is this storage quota limit thing is optional. Since we don't have per user pricing, you can add a storage limit for a user and they are under that limit. But if a user doesn't have a specified limit, they simply fall back onto this pooled storage quota. Okay. Another basic feature that's expected out of a collaborative application is inviting users. Let's take a look at the basic user invite workflow, and I'll walk you through how that looks. You can simply add emails and invite users. You can select a user role or a guest role. A guest role here refers to someone that's not a part of your organization, they're external, and access to them, file access for them is very explicit, be it read or write, you have to explicitly add them onto a file or folder. Whereas if you add a new user, they're automatically a part of your organization. Shared tags. So Drive previously had tags, but they were kind of a joke. I made them. And now they're all pooled by your site. So if you have a set of tags on your site, we can simply create one. And this is shared for all the users. You can simply add a tag to a file and filter by it. Down the line, maybe we'll add tags with specific permissions on them so that you can't share a file tagged internal and stuff like that. Activity log. So Drive gained an activity log. You can view all the changes on your file, all the permissions, organization share, public sharing, who gained access, read, write, rename, all of it, simply in a timeline sort of view at a glance. This was very involved and kind of a pain to build, but it's all working now. And moving on, as I showed you in the earlier walkthrough, Frappe Drive ships with a fully formed document editor right inside it. And whenever an editor has the audacity to be in a browser, it has to nail 3 things in my opinion. Let's take a look at what those 3 things are and how they changed this year. So Frappe Drive's editor is completely collaborative in real time with other users. A lot of work went into making this more robust and fixing sync issues. It's all better now. There's a lot of tiny things of document syncing and conflict-free nature of this that are better suited for something like Frappe Build. Second major feature, whenever an editor has the audacity to be in a browser, there needs to be a way for users to communicate regarding the document that's not a part of the document. So annotations. Drive's annotation system got a revamp this year. Last year, this was pretty basic. It didn't have any threads, replies, marking resolved. That's all not a thing. Now, you can mark comments as resolved as soon as you're done with them. And if an annotation is lost because you deleted the source content, they're simply in the unanchored section, since they're still a part of the document and you can still continue chatting about them. And the last but not least, most important feature for an online editor is versioning. So Drive can now take a snapshot of your entire document. Okay, this video isn't playing. Drive can now take a snapshot of your entire document and recreate that state as to where it was. You can compare different states and highlight the changes between them seamlessly. I wish this video worked, but you're better off just visiting the blog post. There will be one on highlighting changes and everything. This was just the highlights of what happened this year. There was a lot that happened in Drive that I didn't get to talk about. These are just the footnotes of what happened. Maybe it's better done. We'll talk about this in Frappe Build or something. But yeah, passing this on to Suraj, and he'll walk you through his product. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So nice to see you all. Hi, I'm Suraj, product owner of Frappe Builder. Last year at the conference, I introduced Frappe Builder. For those who don't know, it's a powerful tool that lets you create, manage, and publish your website. It was fresh and exciting project, but it had a long way to go so that it could handle real world production use cases. So by the end of the talk, I committed that it will be production ready by 1st of Jan 2024. And I'm happy to say that I was able to meet that commitment, and I launched it live, the very first stable version of Frappe Builder, and gave a short demo, and also made it live for Frappe Cloud users. So before I jump into the specific features of Frappe Builder, let me show you a quick glimpse of how it looks today. Yeah, that's Frappe Builder. It also has a nice dark mode, which I really like and use a lot. Other screens like simple list view with more information about your pages, screens, consolidated settings so that you can get all the options of your page in one single view. Global script support that lets you give the consistent behavior or look and feel for your website. Quick access to your routing options so that you can easily view previews of your page with dynamic URL. Client script support to make your pages dynamic. Some of the features that I would like to share. Grid support feature landed this year, and Frappe Builder initially had flex support, but it was inefficient in certain kinds of layout, such as grid. So, so suppose if you want to create bento layout, you can easily create a block parent with some child, and as you enable grid layout, it will start looking like this by tweaking some. Yeah, so you can individually update the length and width of child as well. So yeah, it's pretty easy to use. This was one of our community members' request that they wanted a page that is accessible to a certain group of people. To enable this, you just have to toggle this switch on, and your page will be accessible to only logged in users. This is how it looks if the page has limited access. Just an indicator that this has limited access. Every design tool or any website building tool needs some kind of template so that users can get started easily and understand how the tool works. So I also introduced some templates in Builder so that users can quickly start maybe a landing page. There are few blocks such as navbar, hero section. So best thing about this is you can drop things and make amends, and you can quickly go live. Your landing page is ready. With it also is responsive out of the box, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, you can make edits, update the URL and all that. All right. Rewinding a bit, to reach this stage, I had to work on some serious website project so that it could test and really expose the limitations of Builder. So luckily we had Frappe.io site revamp project in pipeline, and it turned out to be a perfect project to which pushed the limits of Frappe Builder. So the flow looked like this. You create a page. Before that, Nishant, our designer, would create design. He would create a page on Builder and see if layout looks right. He would check for all the elements in the page and see if things could be converted to component, if the design is reusable. And finally, I would make page dynamic if there is a requirement. For example, if you want to add filters in the page or load list of information from database. The benefit of this flow was that since website builder requires a lot of features to make it feature rich, but I had to prioritize what to work on next. And this gave a clear idea to that this is a specific feature that makes a lot of sense right now to build the page completely. It had fast feedback loop because we were directly working on the production side and we had no room for errors. All the bugs had to be fixed then and there. And it had to be optimized for production because we were working on around, we currently have around 120 plus published live pages, and those are not a small page. They are very functional and lengthy page. I had to work on interface optimization a lot so that it could handle that many elements and with the responsive views as well. So this is a true testament that Frappe Builder can be easily used in production, and it's working fine for us. We have already shipped Frappe.io site. With that, Frappe Cloud is on Builder, made by Builder, and the Frappe Verse site, as you might have used, was also on Builder. So what's next for Builder? More block templates, of course, because not everyone would be able to properly design the page as they want. They might need some help from Builder. So I would add more block templates. This is personally what I would like to work. Variables, the thought of adding variables was you could translate your design system to Builder and create a complete website out of it. You can then tweak your variables to, for example, if you want to tweak accent color, you can just change the color. You don't have to go on each element and update colors. Plugin system, because when I was working on Frappe Builder, I made sure that the interface looked as simple as possible, because other website builders are quite overwhelming and I did not want that to be the case with Builder. So plugin system will essentially extend the functionality of Builder, and whoever wants extra functionality, they can install that plugin and use it, and it will not load the core Builder system. And obviously there are many more in the list. I would like to share one more small feature that I was working on. I started working on last couple of weeks back, and it's a Figma plugin. So I hope this is visible. So if you have some design in your Figma file, you want to replicate it in Builder, you had to create one by one. But now you can select the frame, toggle the Frappe Builder plugin, click copy frame, and then move to you can easily translate all the text related style, layout, padding, and all that. It is a great time saver, and you can get started very quickly. It obviously has some limitation and will have limitation because of the complexity of translating the style to builder blocks, but you can use it to at least get started with the base template and then reiterate over it to make it perfect. I'm planning to release a first version of this in couple of weeks. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, that is it from my side. I would like to see what you build with Frappe Builder. Do reach out to me if you build something crazy. Like last year, Tridot's team reached out saying they built a complete e-com website using Builder, and I was amazed. I would like to get more such projects out of Builder, and yeah, you can scan this for social links. And thanks for your attention. Happy building.
Hi everyone, I am Sagar and I have been part of Frappe for the past 3 years. Yeah. So I was originally working in the ERP stock and manufacturing team. For last 7-8 months, I have had the chance to work on something new and exciting. So how it all began? Let me take you back to the last October. I was at a point where I was looking for a new project, something different from what I had been doing. I got involved in a few ideas like WMS, Warehouse Management System, but I soon realized that my passion has shifted and ERP Next was no longer where my interest lay. Yeah, one day, about a month later, Rucha shared this post on Game Plan talking about how difficult it can be to debug email issues. That's where the idea came from. Instead of fixing problems in other email systems, why not create our own email stack, one that would simplify things for us and others without relying on IMAP or POP. For those who don't know, IMAP and POP are protocols used to fetch emails to your email client like Gmail or Outlook. They are standard, but they are also kind of old school and have their limitations. I'll be honest, it was challenging. I had zero experience with email systems, but I soon started working on this. And yeah, so I just like, so basically I was not sure I should like try this or not, but I just like make a comment on that. Like I want to try this and just started working on things. So it started as a side project, something I worked on when I wasn't catch up with support tickets. And today here we are, introducing Frappe Mail. Sorry. So Frappe Mail is an open source email tool built on the Frappe framework. It provides everything you need to send and receive emails, manage your domains, mailboxes, and aliases, and DKIM keys. It provides easy to use APIs, so you can integrate email functionality directly into your apps. So how email works? When you compose an email and click send, it first goes to your email provider server using something called the SMTP protocol. This server processes your email and adds a special digital signature called a DKIM signature to verify that the email is authentic. Next, the server makes a DNS query to find the email server of the recipient domain, which is set up to receive emails on behalf of that recipient domain. If the server finds that, if the sender server finds that record, it connects to it, like the receiver server, and delivers your email via SMTP protocol. Once the email is received by the receiver server, it performs some security checks based on their policies. It can be some authentication checks, maybe SPF, DKIM, DMARC compliances. If everything is in order, the email is accepted. So where is IMAP or POP? So once the email is accepted, it gets stored in your mailbox, and to fetch the email from the client, email from the server to the client, protocols like IMAP and POP are traditionally used. These protocols allow your client to retrieve the email from the server. However, in Frappe Mail, we don't use IMAP or POP. We use HTTP to fetch emails, making the process simpler and more reliable and more streamlined for integration into modern applications. Yeah, architecture. So on top, we have Frappe Mail app, which is a Frappe app, which manages your data, process your email, and adds a DKIM signature. Like it's worked the same as the server I showed you in the previous slides. For SMTP, we use Haraka Mail with some custom plugins. We have Spam Assassin to detect and block spam emails. For easy installation and deployment, we have introduced Mail Agent CLI, which provides you a CLI. Basically, it's a CLI tool, so you can directly install mail server and manage it via the CLI tool. Mail Agent also provides basically it's also a service that basically a daemon service. So it runs in the background and pull the emails from the queue and push it to the Haraka mail server. Yeah, there can be more than one mail agent connected to a mail app to distribute the load evenly. For communication between mail and mail agent, we have RabbitMQ as a message broker. Maybe in future we implement Kafka in place of RabbitMQ as when our volume increase. This protocol basically they communicate in the AMQP protocol, Advanced Message Queuing Protocol. So Frappe Mail never directly communicate with the mail agent. It always communicate via RabbitMQ instance. So it can be a single instance or can be a cluster. Like so, you can host multiple RabbitMQ instance connected to each other and process the So whenever you hit the queue.frappemail.com, the request goes first to a load balancer. Then load balancer distribute the request across any available agent at the time. Yeah, next for security, we have implemented several layers of protection. We have IP blacklisting, which allows you to block connections from blacklisted IP addresses across all your inbound servers. Next, we have reverse DNS pointer check to keep the spammers and bots away, and Spam Assassin to detect and block spam emails. For authentication, we have SPF, DKIM, DMARC implemented. These are protocols used to basically check whether the email is valid or not, coming from a trusted source or not, that thing. Yeah, connect Frappe apps to Frappe Mail. So connecting Frappe apps to Frappe Mail is very simple. You just need to create this email account doc, just you would like with services for Gmail or Outlook. On the left, we have Frappe School. So this is the site where I want to set up basically Frappe Mail email service. On the right, we have frappemail.com, which is which we are using as a service. And the Frappe School is a customer of that service. Yeah, connect non-Frappe apps to Frappe Mail. For non-Frappe apps, we have APIs to integrate Frappe Mail. We have Auth API for authentication, inbound API to fetch emails, and outbound API to send emails. Milestones. Build with Hussain has been using Frappe Mail for over 6 months and has sent more than 7,000 emails. We have also migrated Frappe School to Frappe Mail. So every email you are receiving from us in the past 2 months has been sent using Frappe Mail. So as you can see, the total sent is 3585, and from which 55 are bounces. Most probably the email is not a valid one, or the domain is not valid. maybe some blacklisting or that thing. So you can like track every thing in the Frappe mail, like how much, like what time it take to transfer the email. So you can see average transfer delay is 11 seconds. So you can like think of it as a, so like 3585 emails are, so every individual email is transferred in 11 seconds kind of thing. Next we have mail client. So currently we have a simple mail client which lets you send and view received emails. Big thanks to Jannat for her contribution to building this. Yeah, so let's make the repo public. Now the time for the second repo, Miss Mail Agent. I don't hand a like I don't have a good hand in Mac. So wait. So now you can go and check out the repos like Mail and Mail Agent and try to set up it locally and let me know the if you face any issues. Currently, I have don't added the docs for the basically the setup, but you can find docs for like basic things like architecture or the tools we are using, how we build it, and stuff like that. So what's next for Frappe Mail? So granular permissions, Docker setup to make installation and deployment super fast. ClamAV integration to scan the incoming emails for viruses, and the most important thing, docs. So thanks everybody for coming and giving me time for the launch.
Hello everyone. I am Gursheen Kaur Anand, and today I'm going to be sharing a little about my journey at Frappe and some quick updates about a new product that I was building since a few days. So, um, I joined Frappe and started working on the ERP Next as well as framework code bases. So I had extensive uh, uh, experience with the backend, but what I lacked was some experience in the front end. So I had not taken up any projects that were mostly front end, and this changed with the new product. So I'll be sharing how that came into picture. And for that, uh, you have to have a little context about what my experience was or what prerequisites I knew before I jumped into front end. I was very new to front end and to the point where I had not built anything with a reactive framework before. So this is my first project that I did with a reactive framework. And I got the chance to try and experiment out things with a small experiment that we were doing with the framework desk UI. So we were doing a rewrite for the framework desk UI, and I was learning front end along with building some new views as well as components for that desk UI. And even though the direction of the framework desk rewrite kind of evolved into something else, I think I gained a lot of momentum and skills from that project so that I could leverage that into another project. So when I learned Vue and I started building components with Vue.js, I was kind of hooked because I had always harbored the curiosity for learning and understanding how good interfaces are built. And since they are a very essential part of good products. And Vue.js lets you do that in a very easy, understandable manner. So when you're new to front end and there are a lot of confusion or a lot of new things that you're learning, especially when it gets confusing with the sheer amount of frameworks that exist today. I mean, if you look up on YouTube for any tutorials, you will get an amount of video recommendations for different frameworks. So as a beginner, you don't know where to start. And Vue.js gives you a good platform to start with the basics and build upon that. So like I said, I was working on the rewrite project and I picked up the skills from there. And I wanted to leverage those into something that used the UI skills that I was building over the period of time that I was working on that project. So this was 30 days back. We posted a LinkedIn post where there was a countdown for this event. And around that same time, Rucha suggested that we should build something new. And it was going to be UI heavy. So I wanted to build it and the idea sounded very interesting to me. So I remember going home and looking at this post and thinking to myself, there are just 30 days left. So I don't know whether I will be able to build a good POC version for the talk or for Frappeverse. So maybe I should do it showcase it later. But then after talking to Rucha, he suggested that we should show some first cut version in the Frappeverse. And in this post, the 30 days that are mentioned, today is day 30. So I am just here to share the POC version. So you might be thinking that I am talking about a new product, but I have not named it yet. And I'm telling you a story without a title. What are you talking about, Gursheen? So what if I tell you that you are looking at the product already? So if I press escape, so this is Frappe Slides. So this is the first cut version of Frappe Slides, where I have made the presentation for the talk on Frappe Slides. So I'll go back into the slideshow and continue with my talk. So yeah, Frappe Slides gave me a good chance to experience all the things that I wanted to learn in UI. And I was very new to it, and the 30-day deadline kind of pushed me or motivated me to do better than what I was already doing. And the very first thing that I thought of doing was putting essential components that would make slides to be good enough to be shown in Frappeverse. So the very essential component would be text elements. And so the basic editing and positioning of text elements on a free-flowing canvas that is 16 by 9 in ratio, that is the normal presentation size, and resizing it and all those other controls was what I worked on initially. I'll share a quick video to showcase what I've built so far for text elements. So this is the layout for Frappe Slides, and I'm quickly creating a slide and then adding text elements. So this is the resizer that you can use to resize the elements and also move them. You can set the style properties like bold, italic, etc. and the justify as well. You can set the font styles and the size, color, etc. All the basic fundamental things that you require for putting up a quick slide. You can also edit the spacing, that is the line height or letter spacing. So I'm quickly so for context, I've just taken an example of a portfolio that someone might build for showcasing their work in photography. So this is that slide. Okay, so the next thing that would be required in this portfolio would be to add images, because it is a photography portfolio. So then I worked on adding images and like giving all the editing features for images as well on slides. So I'll just quickly show you the demo. So this is a slide that I've added text elements to, and I'm quickly adding an image from the uploader. I can resize the image and change the position. I can set other properties for the images that you might require for putting up a slide, that is orienting the image in a certain horizontal or vertical fashion and adding some border or padding and setting the border radius for it. You can also add shadows, but I have not put up the shadow example here. So another thing that you would require in a presentation that I think is very basic is videos. And it kind of suited that I wanted to show this video on my talk. So I wanted to add videos. And this is how you can add and edit videos in slides. So you can go to the slide elements panel that is on the right and add the video from there. Again, all the basic things that you might require, positioning and resizing. You can set the playback options for the video, that is setting autoplay or loop for the video when the slideshow mode is on. And you can add some basic shadows to the video and a border. So you can also set the speed of the video right from the editor here and adjust it with the slider. So apart from these basic components that would be required to put up a basic presentation, you would need to navigate between the slides and so on. So you can either use the shortcuts, that is the arrow keys for the navigation between the slides from the previous to the next slide, etc. Or you can use the navigation panel that pops up on the left side. So this is how it looks. So you can see the thumbnails for all the slides that I've added here, and you can quickly navigate to each one of them. You can also add new slides and reorder them. And a slideshow mode, because this is the most important feature I would require to give this talk. Without this, the talk wouldn't be possible. So I think we know that this feature works because the slideshow happened. And I'm saying that I've added all these features and learned a lot along the way, but there's a lot more to go for Frappe Slides. And I would like to work on some features for enhancing the user experience for the presenter mode, adding more features to that, and making the editor experience also way better. So I'm looking forward to making Frappe Slides better than it is right now. And I hope you all follow along with the journey. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rucha Mahabal. I gave my introduction yesterday, so I want to repeat it. You might have seen me talking about Frappe HR, ERP Nextdoor framework until now. But I have been moonlighting for more than a month in the same company to solve a problem. So we all know that Frappe framework backend is a powerhouse, right? You can build so many things, so many tools use it as a powerful backend tool to enable their front end. But there are certain limitations when it comes to the Frappe front end. Like we have doc types, but every view is consistent. Of course, that's a huge plus point, but the views are also tightly bound to the underlying data structure or the doc types. So how you build the doc types is how they will look in the view. But it's not always necessary that your views need to look the same. You have the need to create, crafted UIs. Composing custom views with multiple data sources is hard, and you are forced to switch between multiple screens while performing a complete cycle, which you would imagine to have in a single dashboard. So I said I started working on this like a month ago, but the experiments began like 4 months ago. First experiment to make our Frappe framework support modern front-end stack. So as Gursheen mentioned, she and I started working on a Frappe framework client rewrite, and the goal was to rewrite everything in Vue.js and Frappe UI so that developers get a better experience. Reactivity is much better. We refactor all the code and a bunch of other features, a fresh look, and you get to work with Vue.js. But we know that Frappe framework is a mammoth of features. Like there are so many features. Even to like rewrite a single list view or a form or a dialogue, we required like a week because there is so much wiring under the hood going on. So this project was going on in the background, but at some point we felt that the goal we had started the project with, which is empowering the users to create powerful front ends, was not being met. So then Frappe offsite happened, which we call Frappe refresh. And during the Frappe refresh, we were having an internal discussion on Frappe UI, how we could make it better. And then Rushabh just casually walked in and he said, you know what, we have powerful elements like the Frappe UI, the framework, and a composition tool like Frappe Builder. So why not put these all things together and build something new and start with a clean slate and scrap the rewrite, because it was also going to affect all the custom apps that partners and the community had created. And bringing the backward compatibility would be a hassle. So always working with a clean slate gives you that power of experimenting faster. The feedback loops are much shorter. So our goals were refreshed. 4 months of work just went away. But we'll reuse those components, I guess. And then I started working on Frappe Studio. So what is Frappe Studio? It's a low-code app builder built on top of the framework, which will allow you to create layouts and a lot of other things faster. So let's see it in action. You go ahead and create an app. So here I'll just demonstrate a short, small app, Frappe Beats. It's a music app. So we'll have 2 tabs, bottom tabs, a mobile view, and we'll have a list of songs, and we'll have a feature to play the song, like it, and it will appear in our favorites list. So let's go and build that. So for this, we need 3 pages in the app. So we have Discover, which is our first tab, favorites, the liked songs, and a dynamic routing path to render a song from the backend. So let's see how you go ahead and build layouts. So you can see the pages over here. I'll start by building the Discover page. You can see all the Frappe UI components, and some components Studio provides. So I'll drag a container. I can select on any component and adjust styles, props, and events for that component from here. This is an app header. And we would need a list of cards, right, for the music. And then maybe a bottom tab for navigation. And then you can go ahead and rearrange whatever you want from the layers panel. You can see all your components there. Now let's begin editing the properties of every component. So we can change the title to Frappe Beats. Let's put some logo, and we'll hide the back button because this is the home page. So we'll leave the card list as it is. We'll connect data to this later. I'll quickly wire the bottom navigation bar for the label icon and routing. So we have our first page ready. Now let's go and build some more complex page, which is the song page. So in the song page, we'll need maybe an image view to view the song cover. Coldplay is in talks right now. We'll adjust the styles from here, maybe add some padding to make it look better. We wrapped it in a container. Then we'll maybe add some text blocks to show the artist name and the song name. So I can go ahead and edit the text blocks properties. So all these things here, like font size, font weight, line height, text color, text, all of this comes from Frappe UI predefined typography, so that your typography looks the same throughout your app. Next, we'll need a audio control, obviously, because how will we play the music? So We'll wrap it up and fix the styles for these. And then I just go ahead and create some buttons for liking and adding the song to the playlist or a few more things. Okay, so we have our second layout ready within minutes. So this is our layout. We built the two layouts. Now let's move to connecting data. So I have a doc type in the backend, which is a song, and you can see all the attributes here. There is a music file MP3 which will play, and you can connect three types of data sources. One is a document list, other is a single document, or some API which the front end will call to show up data on your app. So let's go to the data tab and add new data source. I'll name it as songs. It's a document list of the doc type song. And maybe let's select all the fields we'll require. Now the problem here is the properties require title, subtitle, and image URL, but our data doesn't have those properties. So we'll transform the results that will come from the backend. So subtitle can be a concatenation of artist and duration, and the cover image gets mapped to image URL. This is the object viewer. You can see how the data has been loaded from the backend here. And then let's just wire it with our props, right? So you write JavaScript, a view template syntax, songs.data, and you get the list. So let's connect, wire the second layout. So here the difference is we have a name prop in the URL. So we can also set dynamic filters while fetching data, which we'll get from the route, right? So route.params.name. Then we can set whatever song doc comes up, we'll have to wire that up. So cover image gets wired to this element. Then the title and the MP3 file, right? So our views are wired with the data, layouts are done. One more thing we'll require is the playlist tab. So it's just a replica of our songs, like discovery page, but there is a filter for liked flag, right? So data is done, layouts done. Now let's wire actions. So here there is this like button down, and we'll have to also change the style, right? So let's write template syntax for that. So if the song is liked, then change the color to red, or keep it as the same current color for the SVG. And then let's add events. So you can wire events with any component. So on click, I want to call an API, and I give an API endpoint, which is like the song. I've written it in the backend. It's a whitelisted method inside the document. So our click event is in place. That's it. We are ready to go. So we'll publish this page from here. We have all the pages. You can change routing if you want. This is how it looks on, but this was made for phone, right? So let's check on phone. Audio. You can drag the audio slider to fast forward. And I like it. Go back to favorites. And I have the song here. So this is 1.5 months of work. So I want to make this a lot better, because there are a lot of things that come from text inputs, but you want to make the experience better, to wire your backend types, to generate options for your components and everything. So the next step is also building schemas right from the front end. So you don't have to go to the desk to like wire the doc types, create tables, and see the relationship of how things are connected on the back end. You can ability to create your own components, powerful props, first class auto completion, and wiring code from the UI, everything. So I would like to make it a lot more, like lot better before opening it up for everyone. So it will come up next year, not right now. This was just an introduction. That's it. Thank you.